All of our productions at GCTV are sponsored in part by Bay State Health, providing the care you and your family need when you need it, close to home. Visit them online at baystatehealth.org. Greenfield Savings Bank. Visit them at 400 Main Street in Greenfield. Call them at 774-3191 or go online to greenfieldsavings.com. Greenfield Community College, providing access and excellence in higher education in the Pioneer Valley. Visit them at gcc.mass.edu. The Hammond Family. The Hammond family are longtime supporters of Greenfield Community Television. New Fortune Chinese Restaurant on the Mohawk Trail in Greenfield. Visit them online at newfortunema.com. Call them at 772-0838 and check them out on Facebook. Real Cleaning Services, cleaning Hampshire and Franklin County since 1972. We don't cut corners, we clean them. Check them out online at realclean.com. Call them at 413-422-1143. People's United Bank, located at 45 Federal Street in Greenfield. You can call them at 774-3713 or visit them online at peoples.com. The Solar Store of Greenfield, replacing fossil fuels and nuclear power one home at a time. Visit them at 23 Fisk Ave. Call them at 413-772-3122 or visit them online at solarstoreofgreenfield.com. Thank you to our sponsors for supporting all of GCTV's productions.
I tried to talk Rich Fahey into doing this today, but he said he was retired. So you'll have to put up with me. It's not what I normally do. Normally I'm just in the background fixing the grammar. But good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming today to give tribute to the Greenfield Recorder's 36th Franklin County Citizen of the Year. I was actually there when the award was conceived by our then publisher, Al Hutchison. And I think Drew is here somewhere today. And I'm sure that Hutch is thrilled that it's become an established tradition in our lives. I don't know if that's what he had in mind, but that's what's happened. From the beginning, Hutch imagined an award going to unsung heroes. And over the decades, the award has gone to selfless people who care about their neighbors enough to volunteer tirelessly for their benefit. It's that depth of community spirit that the Recorder tries to acknowledge, reward, and encourage with this award. In Franklin County, we've never had a shortage of deserving nominees. The recipient is chosen by the Recorder from nominees screened by a committee of respected members of the community. And before we introduce our honoree today, I want to thank this year's judges who are more than familiar with public service. With us today on my left are three of the four members of the committee. We have Lisa Duvall, Executive Director, Marketing and Membership Manager of the Franklin County Chamber of Commerce. You've worn different hats over there, I get confused. And Kelly Brigham Steiner, Executive Director of United Way. And at the end, Bob Pura is the retired president of a small but highly respected community college in Western Massachusetts. The fourth member of our screening committee couldn't be here tonight, and that was Claire Higgins, who most of you I'm sure know is Executive Director of Community Action. So those folks provide us with nominees from which the Recorder chose today's honoree. The last person I want to cite today, nominated and will introduce today's honoree. She has worn many hats in the past, and they all seem to involve helping other people. And they all, well, yeah, I'll make that point. So, Mary McClintock of, there she is, Mary McClintock of Conway is a perfect person to introduce this year's Citizen of the Year.
Thanks, George. Thank you so much, George, and I'm so glad to get to be here and to get to introduce my good friend Dave Chichester. But I need you to know that I'm standing here because repeat advertising in the recorder works. I don't know how many times I saw that nominate someone for the Citizen of the Year award ad before I thought, of course, Dave Chichester. I nominated Dave to be Recorder Citizen of the Year because there isn't a Citizen of the Decade or Citizen of the Quarter Century award. Dave and his wife Elaine moved to Conway in 1981, a few years before I did. Along with being one of the kindest people I've ever known, Dave has long impressed me by how much he gives to his community through volunteering. Dave, now 81 years old, was a longtime insurance industry executive who retired early, decades ago. While others might have retired to a life of leisure, Dave turned his retirement into a full-time career as a community volunteer. I didn't realize the depth and breadth of his volunteer work until after I nominated Dave for this award. He's that kind of guy. He just doesn't brag. I knew he'd volunteered for NELQUIT, Franklin County's organization focused on domestic violence. I didn't know that he was NELQUIT's first male board member in the early 80s. I didn't know of his work in the 1990s as president of the Pioneer Valley Symphony Orchestra Board, and in the 1980s as the president of the Arena Civic Theater Board. In the 1990s, Dave was instrumental in creating the Restorative Justice Project in Franklin County and was a founding member of the Foundation for Community Justice Board of Directors. In Conway, Dave served in many roles, as chair of the Conway's Board of Health for many years, as clerk of the Conway Planning Board, as emergency management director, and more. I worked with Dave on the planning board and on the emergency management team. In that team, he did a superb job of developing Conway's infrastructure, volunteers, and training needed to face emergencies such as ice storms and tornadoes. We were both involved in the post-tornado work in Conway. Dave established Conway's reverse 911 community-wide phone call system, and he was the voice of Conway, whose voice we'd hear announcing information about emergency situations, and as test calls, he would remind us that it was town meeting time. 15 years ago, Dave created the volunteer program in the Bay State Franklin Medical Center Emergency Department. Several days a week since then, and I'm sure he'll be there this week. He's there helping patients with cups of tea and blankets and generally assisting the hospital staff in making patients and their families more comfortable. Last summer, I took advantage of Dave having moved from Conway to Greenfield and reduced his number of volunteering tasks. And I asked him to volunteer for me in my job at Community Action Pioneer Valley because we had a project creating a soon-to-be-launched Look for Help public resource directory. Dave spent over 100 hours editing the descriptions of the resources this past summer. When Dave and his wife Elaine downsized and moved to Greenfield, Conway was very sad to see them go. At Dave's last Conway town meeting, we presented him with a special golden phone so he could always have a direct line to Conway. Dave has long been a huge gift to our community and is the last person in the world to think he deserves recognition. He's a role model for me in terms of being a citizen who works hard for his community. I'm thrilled to see Dave's hard, smart, caring work recognized, and I hope many members of our community will be inspired by who Dave is and what he has done for all of us. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. At this point, I guess I'm supposed to introduce folks who will be giving citations to Mr. Chichester. So I guess I'm looking for John Niedzilski. There he is. On behalf of, he's here representing Congressman James McGovern with a citation. It appears it appears that when you're a Recorder Citizen of the Year, you're recognized by every level of government in the United States, with the exception of the UN, which is located here but not actually a government of ours. So at the federal level, we've got a citation from Congressman McGovern.
Thanks, George. Good morning. I'm very pleased to be here on behalf of Congressman McGovern. Although he couldn't be here, Dave, he did want to send his best regards to you and his congratulations. And to that end, he prepared a certificate of special congressional recognition. So I'll read that for you now. It's short and sweet, don't worry about it. All right. Certificate of Special Congressional Recognition presented to David Chichester, the Recorder Citizen of the Year, and recognition of outstanding and invaluable service to the community, signed this day, December 18th, 2018, Jim McGovern, Member of Congress. Dave, congratulations. Thank you so much. You're welcome. There you go. Okay. I'd now like to ask Representative Paul Mark to come up and offer some congratulations from the U.S. House. I'm giving him a promotion. The legislature, the state legislature. Paul Mark.
On behalf of the entire Franklin County delegation, we're going to let the outgoing dean speak first.
Paul never misses a chance to remind us all how young he is. Good morning, everyone. And I just wanted to add a personal note in congratulating Dave, because in the 25 years I've had the privilege of representing the town of Conway, that's how I know Dave, through the ice storm and the tornado, and before that on issues around public health. The regional work that he's done in that field has been really extraordinary. And the impact that he made in the town of Conway and throughout particularly southern Franklin County is immense. And I did not know until I read the recorder this morning. If you haven't, I commend you to read Richie's profile of Dave. All of these other things, Mary mentioned many of them. But they span the breadth of arts and culture and human services and public service in municipalities that I can't think of anyone else that's ever made those kinds of diverse contributions to Franklin County. So Dave, thank you for everything you've done. And thank you to your wife and family as well, because I know that is always a big part of anyone who contributes that much to their community. So you've set a high bar for future recipients of this honor, and I want to thank you very much for everything you've done for us.
Steve, thank you so much. Good luck to you, my friend.
And on behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to David Chichester in recognition of your dedication to your community and for receiving the 36th Annual Greenfield Recorder Citizen of the Year. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 18th day of December 2018 at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts. Signed by Robert A. DeLeo, Speaker of the House, and offered by Paul Mark, State Representative, Steve Kulik, State Representative, and Susanna Whips, State Representative. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I guess we come last at the recorder. The award is its own reward, and I'm sure the work that led to David's honor is what he did it for, and he wasn't angling to get up here tonight. However, he is, and so on behalf of the recorder, we have one last gift to give him for his award. I have three things actually. 2 checks. Pardon me? I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you. Just one moment, please. Okay. I'm sorry, the last group of folks was supposed to introduce one other gift giver before me, and so not to get ahead of his honor, Mayor William Martin is here from the city of Greenfield, that last layer of government I was referring to. So, Mr. Mayor, would you care to come up?
I'm with Karen Rudy Renaud, President of the City Council. It's so easy to forget the mayor in the city, isn't it? The recorder right here in our hometown. We hardly ever get any ink beyond the first 15 pages. But seriously, this is quite a tradition that the recorder has developed over the past decades. It sets an example, and as Representative Kulik mentioned earlier, setting a high bar for the recipients of the Citizen of the Year. For Greenfield, we want to recognize the idea of the volunteerism spirit with David Chichester and what it means for so many of the towns in Franklin County, as well as the only city in the county, and that is our governance is made up of volunteers. In Greenfield, over 200 volunteers provide the governance mechanism to the day-to-day operations, the month-to-month processes. We have so many good people to give of their time and effort. And during this season of giving, it is just remarkable that the accomplishments of David and the sacrifice of his family for losing him over those period of hours is really phenomenal. So the city recognizes and acknowledges the accomplishments of David and congratulates the recorder for maintaining this tradition year after year. Karen?
First of all, Conway's loss is Greenfield's gain, and thank you very much for moving. And we'll talk about what you can do for the town of Greenfield. I'm wondering what precinct you live in. We have elections coming up. But on behalf of the town of Greenfield, I'd like to present you, the mayor and I, with this citation. Thank you so much for all you do, and will continue to do.
My pleasure. Thank you. Karen, thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm John O'Rourke, very proud to represent the town of Conway. First of all, congratulations to Dave, and certainly congratulations to Elaine, his lovely wife, who's his motivating force. I understand that Mayor Martin gave Dave and Elaine a very substantial tax break to move from Conway to Greenfield. We'll match it, Dave, if you want to come back. I have a proclamation for Dave. Many of the whereases in the proclamation have already been mentioned by Mary, so I'm going to skip down to the bottom. Whereas David, along with his wife Elaine, were constantly involved in numerous municipal activities and events that benefited the citizens of the town of Conway, and whereas in recognition of the many outstanding contributions of David I. Chichester to the citizens of the town of Conway, now therefore I, John P. O'Rourke, Chairman of the Board of Selectmen of the town of Conway, and acting on the will of the Board of Selectmen, do hereby proclaim December 18th, 2018 to be David I. Chichester Day in the town of Conway, and urge all citizens of the town of Conway to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance, given this 18th day of December in the year 2018, signed by the Board of Selectmen.
David, thank you so much. I can't imagine what people in Conway are going to do today. Thank you.
Okay. Santa Claus. Unless there's someone here from the village of Burkeville, I guess it'll be my turn. As I was saying, there are three things here for the recorder to give Mr. Chichester. One is a commemorative platter that you can keep at home for yourself. So I'm going to give you this now. And then there are two checks. One has been made out to Warm the Children, the recorder's charity program. And the other is to a different charity, the Hospice of Franklin County, which I presume is something you folks asked for. So there are those. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And now you got the top. Okay.
Good morning. Happy holidays. Seems like Christmas came a little early for me. But, thank you, George. And I want to thank the recorder for its program, for electing the Citizen of the Year. I am very humbled. I'm very honored by this. And I'm going to acknowledge the people who have gone before me, too, because it's kind of important. It's overwhelming, it's humbling to be on the same list as the other 35 people who have served the community so well over the past 35 years. So, thank you, Diane, for hosting us today and for this wonderful event. And I wish you luck as you start your career with the Chamber of Commerce here. But and thank you for the music too. That was added to the mood of the celebration. So. I want to thank the presenters also for their citations. I will find a nice wall to put them on at home. And of course the lovely pewter plate, which I haven't had a chance to look at, but we will treasure that very much. So my deepest thanks to Mary McClintock, who thought enough to want to nominate me. Mary is a force of nature. She is the one person I know who could indeed organize a room full of cats. She has such skill at organizing, at presenting. Her eloquence is known throughout the county, and her work, both in Conway and in Greenfield, and community action of Pioneer Valley is distinguished. So I thank you very much, and I may get back at you some point. I'm proud to introduce my wife of 63 years, Elaine. She has been my inspiration, my support, and my editor. So. I'd like to introduce people at the guest table who I have. Every one of them has been, so many people in this room have been involved with my activities in town, but these folks particularly were most influential in my lives. And I'm just going to go around the table alphabetically. No, I can't do that. So, so I'll start with Tom Hutchison, who is the town administrator of Conway, who was my mentor and my guide. He taught me how to get along with people. And with his sense of humor made that all possible. But thanks for helping me through the morass of and politics of the town of Conway. Due respect to John. Right, okay. So Becky is someone who has been a force with me. She is the manager of volunteers at Bay State Franklin Medical Center. And also of Noble Hospital now. She has grown and taken on all kinds of new responsibilities. Becky is my boss at Franklin Medical Center and keeps me on the right track there. Lucinda Brown, you talk about forces of nature. Lucinda Brown, I think, is fairly well known in this community. She started to come into her own, I think, in the 1994-95 with the Restorative Justice Program that I think a lot of people in this room have been involved with over the course of time. Lucinda has influenced positively more people than I could possibly imagine who have gone through the court system and helped to straighten them out, some of them anyway, if not a lot of them. And I thank you, Lucinda, for being such a role model. You are my hero. Mary Beth Chichester and Craig Chichester. Craig is our son, and Mary Beth, his daughter, who have been very much influential in our lives and support of what I have been doing in the town. And Doug Baker and Jocelyn Baker and Debbie Baker. Debbie's our daughter. They have been, I'm going to choke up now, but they have been very patient with me sitting at the Christmas dinner or the Thanksgiving dinner and hearing me recite all of the activities that I've been involved in. That has got to be very boring. But I heard them say several times, what in the world is he up to now? So thank you for your patience. Pamela Barber is a hero of mine. In 2004, she just happened to say, Dave, we want to start a volunteer program in the ER at Franklin Medical Center. Would you be interested in helping us get that program started? And I said, I'm not too sure about that, but she convinced me that that was the right thing to do. So that was 15 years ago, and I'll be there tomorrow morning. So it's still going on. You started me on my trajectory of hospital work. So, and Chuck Kinney, her partner, and a good friend of mine who has always with a great sense of humor supported me in everything I do. So. There is power in volunteering. I think most everyone in this room has volunteered before, still volunteering, so I don't need to give a speech on the power of volunteering. But it can be an opportunity to transform one's life and build new skills and create new relationships, and then one thing leads to another. Which kind of gets out of control sometimes, but there is a lot of power. Somebody once said that working as a volunteer can be a non-pharmaceutical option to improving one's health and skills. So I think that's kind of a good lesson, non-pharmaceutical aid in helping one's well-being. So I would heartily recommend it. It's a lot better than other remedies that I could think of. Over the years, I have decided to become a volunteer because I don't like collecting things. As Richie noticed in interviewing me and put in the paper this morning, I don't collect thimbles or coins or beer cans, but I did need something to do with my time. Elaine wanted me to get out of the house, so that was kind of important. So it put me in touch with reality a little bit more, and I have enjoyed volunteering. It provided me some direction and some empathy for other people, and when you think about people helping people, there is power in that. And that's as much sermonizing as I'm going to do here, but I heartily recommend it to anybody. And if anyone wants to volunteer someplace, I've got lots of ideas about that. So, the paybacks of volunteering are terrific. And sometimes you don't notice it when it happens. Oh, I don't want to go to another meeting. But yet, when you get through it, you say, oh, that was pretty powerful. One example. Last week in the emergency room, there was an 83-year-old woman who had fallen and broken her hip. And she was in the treatment room. And she was in a lot of pain and very anxious about what this was going to do for her or to her. What was the rest of her life going to look like? When I went in and I talked with her, and I brought her warm blankets and pillows and water and ordered food for her, she was clearly upset. And as I left the room, I said, is there anything else I can do for you? And she said, yes, Mr. Volunteer, can I take you home with me? So that was all I needed for compensation, for payment that week and that day. So I heartily recommend it. On behalf of Elaine and I want to thank you all for the honor. I am truly grateful and appreciate all of the wonderful sentiments that have been extended to me and to us this morning. Happy holidays, everybody.
All of our productions at GCTV are sponsored in part by Bay State Health, providing the care you and your family need when you need it close to home. Visit them online at baystatehealth.org. Greenfield Savings Bank. Visit them at 400 Main Street in Greenfield. Call them at 774-3191 or go online to greenfieldsavings.com. Greenfield Community College, providing access and excellence in higher education in the Pioneer Valley. Visit them at gcc.mass.edu. The Hammond Family. The Hammond family are longtime supporters of Greenfield Community Television. New Fortune Chinese Restaurant on the Mohawk Trail in Greenfield. Visit them online at newfortunema.com. Call them at 772-0838 and check them out on Facebook. Real Cleaning Services, cleaning Hampshire and Franklin County since 1972. We don't cut corners, we clean them. Check them out online at realclean.com. Call them at 413-422-1143. People's United Bank, located at 45 Federal Street in Greenfield. You can call them at 774-3713 or visit them online at peoples.com. The Solar Store of Greenfield, replacing fossil fuels and nuclear power one home at a time. Visit them at 23 Fisk Ave. Call them at 413-772-3122 or visit them online at solarstoreofgreenfield.com. Thank you to our sponsors for supporting all of GCTV's productions.